I
And
love dibbly doubly.
We're now live.
Dibbly doubly.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. We are live, aren't we?
Yep.
Good.
So yeah, without further ado, is everybody here ready for a countdown?
I am ready for a countdown.
Yep.
All right. John? Sweet. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? It is Game That Tune, and we are back in the house once again. It's your boy, John Harrington, here. We've got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We've got David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
We've got the Game That Tune champion, Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
And we've got an incredibly special guest for tonight's show. What a get. Jesse, thank you so much for bringing this guest to the show, bringing our show to his attention. We've got someone of a legend in the video game music community. We've got Brentalfloss Black. I think we'll just be calling him Brent for the duration of the show. We've got Brentalfloss. Say hey.
Hi, how's it going? A legend. That's fun. That's fun.
Hey. I figure anybody with your kind of YouTube subscribers and just your, you've got years and years of backup for your legend status that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Many people don't have. I think I don't think I'm overstating it. So,
I'm
thank
fine
you for
with
joining us.
Pleasure. Real pleasure.
No, continue praising. Continue praising.
Great. Yeah. Oh, I like that. If you're just joining us here on Game That Tune, as Brent is, what we do around here is listen to video game tunes. We've each got 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess each other's games based on the songs with a little bit of trivia. We're going to goof off and have a lot of fun. The winner at the end of the night picks a theme for the next episode and plays some bonus tunes. And our winner, unusually, last week, was John Regan. And Johnny...
Right.
Yeah, John selected the theme for tonight's episode, so he gets to explain what we're going to be playing tonight. What do we got, Johnny?
Yeah, so I got on this weird kick lately of enjoying the 26th anniversary of things. I what's the 25th is the silver anniversary, I believe, right? And the 50th is the gold. So the 26th is like the tungsten anniversary, I feel like. It's a good anniversary.
Lead.
Oh, actually, I just Googled it. It's artwork.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful. So I decided that we should celebrate the 26th anniversary of the year 1995 with Nintendo games from the year 1995.
Yes. Yeah. What a definite theme you've chosen. I mean, that's right in your wheelhouse. Johnny, the Sega guy, picks Nintendo games from 1995. It makes perfect sense. Many great Nintendo games, many great Nintendo systems to choose from in 1995. The NES definitely didn't stop producing games in 1994. I was kind of hoping that I could get a late NES game on the show tonight, but I can't. It's going to be a blast.
I should have gotten a certain famous Nintendo system from 1995 from my basement, but I didn't.
Oh, wow. That probably, that would have been
you got
something to show
the Game
off.
Boy printer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to flex with the Game Boy printer.
You're going to print your answers on the Game Boy
Yeah.
printer
Oh,
tonight?
it's just like comes out.
Hold on. Here it comes.
David, it's been 6 minutes. Just give me a second. Almost there.
But yeah, no, I think it's I think we've got a lot of fun potential for tonight's show. Plenty of awesome tunes from awesome games from 1995. And Johnny, I think there's nothing left to do except jump right into it, man. So what do we got for game 1?
Game 1.
gentlemen, trivia hint for this game. According to this game's manual, the entire game was made because the main two characters had a bet with their mentor that they could have a fun adventure without fancy graphics or modern music. I couldn't resist. So, does everyone have their answers ready?
Yes.
Johnny, do
Yeah.
you have the hat trick sound ready?
I absolutely do have the hat tricks already.
Jesse's still writing.
Sorry, didn't realize that we were doing this.
No, no,
Yeah.
you're fine. So it is a hat trick or a quad trick. Everyone says Donkey Kong Land.
If not for that third one, honestly, I was like pretty lost. But
Yeah.
that third one was, and the hint, were what gave it away for me.
Right. Yeah, no, before that I was in like Game Boy noise hell and utterly concerned.
You know what I wrote down before the last guess? Oh, I've already thrown it away. Here it is. Mario's Picross is just one of the most eclectic Game Boy soundtracks, and it's like, if you don't know what it is, pick that.
Yeah.
But,
I almost went with Mario's Picross, but then I saw that Donkey Kong Land came out in 95, and I actually played that game. So I was like, you know what? Let's go with that instead. And part of me wanted to go with three of the like wholly unique songs, but then I was like, it's Gangplank Galleon. Like I have to play that song.
it's a bop.
That's
gonna
a
say,
pretty
like,
cool rendition of it.
Yeah, it took a turn.
Like,
Well, that kind of describes Donkey Kong Land. Because it's not the same game. It's not just a straight port of the SNES game. Surprisingly, an SNES game noted for its 3D graphics didn't wholly translate to the Game Boy well.
No.
So it doesn't, it features like the same areas, but all of the levels are unique and they're like remade levels. And for Brent, because longtime listeners would know, but since you're new to the show, I never had a Super Nintendo growing up because I was a poor child. So I completely missed out on
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing and it's so good." And then I did have a Game Boy Pocket, and I saw that they had like, "Oh, this is that Donkey Kong Country, but it's going to be on Game Boy." Okay, and I
Close
played it. And I
enough.
was like, "This is fine, but I don't see what's so great about it." Maybe the problem was it was on Game Boy Pocket, and trying to do like rendered 3D graphics on a non-backlit screen really didn't work.
They really
Yeah.
didn't figure out how to make that graphical style work on Game Boy till Donkey Kong Land 2, because just differentiating these weird, super compressed 3D rendered sprites against a background that allowed you to really see the foreground with four colors is Moida. They figured it out later on in the series, and it's like, it's pretty cool they didn't just copy paste all the levels, but still, yeah, the first one is very hard on the original hardware. It's very hard to make it out sometimes.
right,
I think
especially with the original original Game Boy's like screen ghosting, right? I'd imagine that would just be a real blurry mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
'cause
was.
Those sprites, I mean, they're tiny, but they're still pretty finely detailed, right? Like for a Game Boy game. And yeah, I
was
don't
gonna
know
say
how you can make that out on the Game Boy's original screen.
I think the secret with Donkey Kong Land 2 was they didn't try to like shade the sprites. So like the sprites were predominantly white
Yeah.
along the dark background, and
Right.
it became much easier to see. But in the first one, like, no, it was pretty much like a straight translation of the style. And the first jungle level is a bitch because like between
it's like
your
shaded
sprite,
background and shaded sprites. It's just a fucking like black and white nightmare.
it's really hard to distinguish which trees are platforms and which trees are not.
Word.
Man. Yeah, I hate this.
But the soundtrack's really good.
Soundtrack it does its job, though. I guess they tried to undercut that with the manual there, like saying, "Oh, we don't need fancy music." Like, do they send that to David Wise and be like, "No, we don't need you. We'll just make something up."
Well, that was one thing that I did really like about this game is the Donkey Kong Country games have kind of like poked at the fourth wall, like in Donkey Kong Country Returns, he'll like pop out a DS and play on it for a little bit. But in this game, like the entire reason it's not K. Rool has come back with a new army or whatever, like literally Cranky said, like, you could only do that because you had the Super Nintendo. We didn't have that in my day. And they're like, well, fine, fuck it. We'll do it on Game Boy. And that's the
Love
game.
that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Can I tell a quick name droppy David Wise story?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, so he and I were invited to this weird convention in Norway called Retro Spillmessen. And so I was like, I'm going to get to meet David Wise. Oh my God. I had the literal cassette tape of Donkey Kong Country that I got from Nintendo Power. Oh my God. So like, he's a very sweet, soft-spoken, just decent guy. And I was like, but he and David Doak, by the way, the programmer or the designer of GoldenEye and Time Splitters, I think. Fucking, do you know if you know Dr. Doak?
Yeah, Dr. Doak.
He was the model for Dr. Doak. That was an inside joke. In any case, I'm doing my live show, and this show included my DK rap parody and my Donkey Kong Country with lyrics song. And I was like, I don't think David Wise has heard this. Fuck yeah. He's going to be. So he and David Doak are like sitting there, like pretty close to the front row in this weird Norwegian recreation center. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, like, fuck yeah. Oh, wait, are we cursing on this show?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, motherfucker. No. The point is that right as I'm about to get into the set or the part of the set with Donkey Kong Country, David gets up and leaves, and like my set list is on a PowerPoint. I can't switch it around. So basically I had to keep going, and he was in the bathroom for like that song and the next song and then came back. So the one song, and you can't casually be like, hey David, here's my phone. You want to watch this YouTube video where I totally stole your music and made money? So it was such a bummer. He's again the nicest, sweetest man, but still to this day, I wish I could have seen the look on his face.
I think Johnny
at the very
met him
least,
at a. Oh, go for it, David.
I was going to say, at the very least, you can feel comfortable in the knowledge that he used the bathroom. It wasn't like you were halfway through the show and he's like, this guy sucks. Fuck.
Yeah. It was good that he came back. Because, when you're doing a live show, you're trying to focus on the thing, but it's almost like little meteorites of other thoughts are coming in and they have to burn up in the atmosphere so you can focus and work the crowd. It's just me up there. But yeah, he came back.
I guess it's good that he left. Yeah, he left before the song, not like he didn't storm out on you. That's a good sign.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely P related. It was not offense taken to the music.
Luckily.
That's
luckily.
Good. Yeah. Or he went and called his lawyer, like, I think this guy's about to steal my music and rap over it.
Really, you could wear that as a badge of honor. Like, my music made David Wise piss himself.
Maybe piss. Maybe I'm human coffee. Maybe I'm just like,
that's true. Yeah.
Take a slug of this show. You're going to take a dump. Bye.
Yeah.
I do, baby.
Put that on the, that's a pull quote. May have made David Wise go number 2. Who knows? But yeah, so anyway, speaking of number 2, the music for this game. Sorry. No, it's fine. I mean, it's Game Boy music. It's so funny listening to Game Boy music when they try to take SNES songs and downgrade them. It doesn't work. Like they try. They really try their best.
The
sometimes
map
it's
music
cool.
is pretty good too.
Oh yeah, it's still just the Jungle Hijinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that seems like it's slow enough that they could make that work on Game Boy. But like, I think I was listening to one of those like Mega Man X downgrades for Game Boy Color for like GTT Gems at one point, and I'm like, yeah, no, you can't do this. You can't make this music for a Game Boy. That doesn't work.
I mean, you can kind of get those like jaunty jungle rhythms from Donkey Kong, but like the Mega Man X hard rock on a Game Boy, no.
Yeah,
like no bass lines to play with at all.
I am 100% after the show going to go listen to the Game Boy version of Aquatic Ambiance. Like, I need to know how that happened. Because like,
it happened.
That's the song that I should have gone with for the last one.
Yeah, you really should have just softballed this one and played the 3 worst conversions of the 3 best Donkey Kong Country songs. But it's okay, David. You got to keep the guessing game thing going.
I like how I ended with Gangplank Galleon, and you're like, you really should have softballed this. Like,
you could have thrown three softballs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want Johnny to get like a point after the first song. Like, he has to squirm a little bit.
What?
True.
What? David, have you been on the show? Like, I don't care how I do. It's fine.
Yeah, Johnny's never squirming. He
No.
is okay in his rut. But anyway, yeah. So difficult graphics, acceptable music, and David never owned an SNES. David, is there anything else that really needs to be said on Donkey Kong Land?
Considering that last point has nothing to do with the game, no, I think we're good.
It has everything to do with the game, David. Nobody that had the SNES would have bothered playing this.
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
Yeah, they would have.
It did
I mean, like, if you realize that like you're going to a summer camp you don't want to go to, and you like Donkey Kong Country, I can imagine like trying to maneuver it where you buy Donkey Kong Land and you buy a bunch of AA's, but it's like it's nobody's first choice, I don't think.
Right. Exactly. I mean, Super Mario Land is still out there, and it's still a fun game to play, and it's distinct from the previous games. It's it's not just a downgraded Super Mario World. Yeah. And speaking of that, what's up with the land naming convention? Has that gone away entirely? Do we not call portable versions of more popular console games such and such land anymore? They should do that.
Super Mario 3D Land is the last one that I know of, but I don't know if that counts because I think Super Mario Land started the convention of world or galaxy or country or whatever on a console and then land on portable. But yeah, I don't know. That might have fizzled out with like series that didn't do that before, I don't know, the turn of the millennium.
I just like it. I miss things being worlds and lands. There should be Fire Emblem Land. Like,
I think with the Switch though, the next game should
Super
be
Smash
Super
Brothers
Mario
Land.
World Land.
yes.
Yes.
Oh man, if
Sorry
the
to step
Wii
on
U,
you there.
if the Wii U and 3DS Smash Brothers games had been called Super Smash Brothers World and Super Smash Brothers Land, it would have been one for the ages. That would have just been too good.
Collectors would have been like, well, I have to own land. I'm never going to play it, but I gotta own it.
Exactly. But anyway, sorry for stepping on your joke, David.
Yeah, same actually. I jumped in right as you did. My
that's
bad.
But the
Podcast listeners will get it.
the one thing about Donkey Kong Land, at least it came in a yellow cartridge.
True.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's neat.
That gets an extra point. It does. I love a special colored cartridge.
What it
That's,
tastes like?
Yeah, that's the
It
real
was
question.
pre-Switch, so it just tasted like plastic.
I would rather it taste like a banana runt.
Exactly.
Remember
Those are the best.
Man, they
Banana
should have
Runs are
stirred
the
in
best
some,
ones.
stirred in some Laffy Taffy to the cartridges and just
If you peel off the art on the front, there's a joke on the back. It's pretty great.
Of course, the bitch with the cartridge made of Laffy Taffy is once you put it into the Game Boy, you couldn't get it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
It just kept pulling and
Yeah.
it kept stretching.
It always sucked when you guys remember those machines, that you put the quarter in, you turn the wheel, and candy comes out, right? And you go to the Runts machine and fucking
A candy machine?
You go to the candy machine, and instead of the banana Runt, you get a Donkey Kong Land cartridge. That always just really drove me bananas.
Wow, that was boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
ultra combo.
Seriously, man, that was like a joke on a joke on a joke, Johnny.
Man,
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like I hated when I went to a candy machine for Runts and all I got were like the limes because I hated when that happened
Yeah,
to me. Like,
I
no,
thought we were
give me
about to do like
variety.
an actual like Runts bitch sesh, but no, you just want to do the Donkey Kong jokes, man. That's fine. Damn,
Stick
John.
around for the post show when we come up with our Runts tier list.
Yeah, we're gonna be power
Oh,
ranking
God.
the Runts by the end of the episode.
hot
Power
run
ranking
takes.
Game
Ah, man.
2.
Yeah,
Oh, what? Shit, that's my bad.
I was gonna say.
Hold on.
I think I know what it is.
We'll fix that in post.
This is why I went first.
Game 2.
All right. For trivia, I thought it'd be fun to give you the controller layout for this game. So this is a Super Nintendo game. A controls items, B jumps, X kicks, Y controls fire extinguishers, L does nothing. Right allows you to see through walls. Start is your item screen, and select shows your map and shows the location of other firefighters.
Jesse, I got a quick clarification. You said right. Do you mean R button or like right on the D-pad?
Oh, R button.
Okay.
Can't move
All
right,
right
but you can
now.
look through all the walls.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Let's see what you got. Oh, man.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That's pretty close. So John says Burning Rangers 0. That's wrong. Johnny says Fire Fantasy Football. No, that's wrong.
What?
Brent says what should be the correct answer, but unfortunately is not. Firefighter Emblem, Land/Out World. And David with the correct answer, Ignition Factor. Yes, this is Ignition Factor, a Jalico joint. And this is a firefighting game. It's fairly interesting. You don't get many of those.
No, they
I've
just
never
don't
heard
make
of
enough
it.
firefighting games.
Yeah, they released one in Europe called The Firefighters or something. And it was more of like a cartoony firefighting game. But this one is more like serious. You have like special fire extinguishers to put out like chemical fires and electrical fires. You get like these I think they're CO2 grenades. You throw them and like it just makes fire dissipate. You gotta like
Anti-fire grenades?
yeah, it's great.
I don't know if CO2 grenades are an actual thing, but if they are, I want to become a firefighter.
Yeah. I would think anti-fire grenades would just be water balloons, but that's just me.
Just suit up with a bunch of water balloons.
Yeah, but could you imagine like
Just
you
run
come
into a
up with
burning
a-
building covered in water balloons?
Just
Yeah, but
some
could you imagine-
firefighter like with a faucet on the side of a building. They're like, faster, faster.
Just a minute. Oh, it came off the thing again.
We should have got one of those things from the TV.
The bunch of balloons.
Yeah. But could you imagine like firefighters rolling up to a burning building, they open up their cooler and jostling as they drove, like all the water balloons popped. So it's just a cooler full of water with like rubber bits floating in it. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, what do we do?
Now what do we do?
Can't hook a hose to it. They're fucked. Yeah, this whole idea was fucked.
Has anybody got a piss? But yeah, there's no water balloons
Sorry.
in this game.
That was a brief but fun tangent.
Yeah. But it's wild. Like you gotta there's some weird levels. There's one place you gotta like download the stuff off the computer before the fire destroys it. You gotta like save hostages, and well, not hostages. The fire,
Whoa!
the fire isn't keeping them hostage. I mean,
I mean, it kind of is.
but there's like some people that won't leave unless you like do certain things. It's like, oh, I'm not leaving unless you rescue my friend first. It's like you're in a fucking burning building. Get out.
Yeah. I really prefer the idea of like Cinder from Killer Instinct on the phone. Like, I want a helicopter and some charcoal briquettes.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a hostage negotiation level where you don't even enter the building?
And it would have to be what? Glacius? Who's the other guy? Who's the icy guy?
Yeah.
No, that's Glacius, yeah.
Yeah, Iglesias.
I've just made this into a fan fiction that I would have written around 1995. But anyway.
Oh.
See, I
Sounds
can
good.
imagine having to rescue hostages being a thing in a firefighting game in a more like arcadey firefighting game where like
Yeah.
at the end of the level there's like a giant bird made of fire that's the boss.
Totally.
Like, okay, that makes sense, but I don't know. There's something about a Super Nintendo firefighting game where you have to worry about the chemical composition you're using. It's like, there's no way 9-year-old me would have been into this.
Yeah, no. Like the hostage thing sounds more like a Burning Rangers thing, or like maybe a Super Mario Sunshine thing, but not on the SNES. Not
What the fuck
Ignition
version
thing.
of Mario Sunshine were you playing where there were
I'm just-
hostages?
To be fair, if
Of
you
another
rolled,
firefighting game.
if you roll one of those huge watermelons from Sunshine, like they sort of popped like balloons. That could put a fire out
Yeah.
pretty quick.
I'm just imagining it's like you get to Isle Delfino, like you need to clean up this mess. Also, 20 people are being held by terrorists on the Shine game.
Mario, we're gonna need you to go in there, man.
Mamma mia, this took a turn.
Toadsworth just like up on a building with a sniper rifle, like I got you covered, man.
Yeah. Like,
Say the
all
word.
right. I gotta, you gotta get me in there. That's good. I'm a chuckster. Oh man. But yeah, so none of that happens in the Ignition Factor, does it, Jesse?
Not any of that.
No chucksters.
No chucksters. However, you do get an axe. If you carry too much stuff, you can't kick doors down or run, so that's annoying. You can also find other firefighters in the building, and they'll like give you stuff.
Recruit them.
But I've also walked in on them like in a building, and they just like walk into the fire and then just get lit on fire, and it's like you're not doing a good job.
think of your training.
So the AI is very confusing.
Awesome.
Although the people being lit on fire animation is very good. It's very much the famous Street Fighter 2 being on fire animation. If you're familiar with that, so that's pretty cool. If you like that,
So-
this is the game.
So wait,
for
is
you.
that how big the sprites are? Like, are you Street Fighter sized guys walking around a burning building?
I would say you're about the half the size of a Street Fighter character, which is still
Okay.
pretty good. Like the sprites are good. It's a decent looking game if you're into firefighting.
And who isn't? I mean,
Yeah.
really? Like, how can you say you're
America's
not into
favorite
firefighting?
pastime.
Yeah.
Could you
God.
remember when we all watched Backdraft as kids and we're like, man, I wish there was a game like this?
I mean, I would have played a Backdraft game sooner than I would have played the Ignition Factor. Like, if I was at Blockbuster and I saw Backdraft the game, I'd be like, yeah, I know that. I'll get that game. Like, movie tie-in games are always famously great, so this makes sense.
Gotta be better than Platoon.
Oh, God.
I'm still mad about Platoon the game, specifically because there was a used copy of it at a game store in St. Augustine, Florida. And John, you and I went to that store looking for something, and you convinced me to buy Platoon on NES for $5.
Come on.
And it's five of the worst dollars I've ever spent.
It's the funniest game cover of all time. Like, at the time when we were both getting into, like, collecting and buying retro games, you see fucking Willem Dafoe, like, gunned down on a game cover. It's like, David, you got to buy that. You got to buy Platoon the game.
Wow, I'm looking at it right now, and that is some iconic art. Wow.
Yeah.
Violent.
And that was back when video games were just for kids. Allegedly.
Right. Can you
Like-
imagine that on the shelf next to like Super Mario 2?
Yeah.
You know, like,
No, it's, if you go alphabetically, it's probably near Paperboy.
oh yeah.
So, like, oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was completely sold just on the artwork. No, I've actually only played that game once, and for good reason. Platoon, the game is awful.
But
But
Ignition Factor is probably way better than Platoon.
Right. Exactly. Thank you for getting us back on track. I'm like, wait, why are we talking movie games? Firefighting. There's no firefighting in Platoon. There should be.
I mean,
Well, it
they
depends
fight
on which
by
side of the war you're
firing,
on.
So,
Jesus.
I
I mean,
Game
were
3.
were we putting out any fires?
I know we were.
You
No,
might
saying-
have to.
I
if you
think
keep-
I think quite the opposite.
Oh God. Yeah. So this is on the Switch Online service, though. That's why you've
Yes.
played this, right, Jesse?
Yes, I did not purchase this myself.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna have to. I think I might have to check it out. I love giving 15 minutes of a chance to
Yeah.
games on that service. 'Cause that's usually what they get.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they're doing with that service, but no one was asking for the Ignition Factor. But who knows? Could be great. Jesse, is it great?
It's different, it's more of a curiosity, I would say. Like, it's not necessarily bad. It's just, you got to be in a very specific mood for this game. But it's definitely novel to check it out for, like you said, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, I'm looking
What
at
a hearty
it, and
endorsement.
4 reviewers of Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it Game of the Month in January of 1995.
Wow.
So that speaks highly.
We're gonna have to really check on the logs of what games came out that
I was going to
month.
say
really-
January. If it's anything like movies, January maybe isn't the most the most proud award month.
No,
It's the
Um,
best
this is our
game
ga-
that missed the holiday release window of 1994.
This is our
This
Game
game's
of the
really
Month.
something.
This also has the special award of only game we reviewed this month.
Yeah.
yeah, it's literally the game of the month. Like that is it. That's all there is.
It's not an award. It's this month's game.
Yeah.
That's likely. I like it. Jesse, anything else on the ignition factor?
Stop, drop, and roll.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Game 3.
Alright guys, so a cool little piece of trivia on this game is this is a Game Boy port of a Sega Genesis game, and it's one of the few Game Boy games that when played on a Super Game Boy replaces the entire Game Boy soundtrack with a Super Nintendo soundtrack, which is not a feature I even knew existed.
Johnny, I love that there's somebody in our chat calling you out for making this too easy. What the fuck?
I was so stumped until then. And now, Johnny, did I hear you right that you said this was a Game Boy port of a Sega Genesis game?
Yes.
Interesting. That sounded not like Game Boy music to me, but
Well,
or was that the music from the Super Game Boy?
that was the
version?
music from the Super Game Boy.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
you're getting complicated today, John. Wow.
Sega Genesis on the Super Game Boy, on the Super Nintendo. There's layers here.
Gotcha.
All right, let's see some answers. Let's see. Everybody wrote Animaniacs, and everybody is correct. This is Animaniacs for the Game Boy, as rendered on a Super Game Boy on the Super Nintendo. And so Animaniacs came out for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and Factor 5 of all developers ported the Sega Genesis version to the Game Boy. So it's a
Wow.
Genesis
Wild.
game on the Game Boy, And then yeah, I did not know until recently that the Super Game Boy would let Game Boy games like upload their own background music using the Super Nintendo chiptunes or Super Nintendo chipset.
Yeah, how is that even possible? That doesn't add up at all.
It really doesn't, right? Because like the Super Game Boy is basically just a Game Boy stuffed in a Super Nintendo cartridge, right? And somehow they figured out how to have Game Boy games detect like, oh, I'm on a Super Game Boy, and upload their own music to the SPC 700 chip and play their own tunes that way.
That is so wild.
I'm just wondering,
seriously,
like,
Johnny, what the hell?
they somehow made a feature where the Super Game Boy would make Super Nintendo soundtracks, and they used it on Animaniacs? Like,
Yeah, man.
did they do it to like enhance Super Mario Land 2?
Nope.
No, they
Fuck
did it on
Donkey
like
Kong Land.
No, so
It's
Donkey Kong Land had this too, but only for like the ending song, right?
Ah!
Like,
Why go
most-
to the trouble? That's so weird. It's not like it's going to sell any more games. Like, who goes, I don't know about that Animaniacs game. Did you know, though, if you play it on the Super Game Boy, the soundtrack sounds slightly different? Oh,
Yeah.
sold. 40
That's
bucks
done.
in 1995 money, done. Like,
Yeah.
that's
like,
what drove me nuts was they would put on the box like this game is Super Game Boy Advance, but they never said exactly how, right? So you always just kind of assume like, oh, there's a custom border or a custom like color palette. Like, I don't care, Had I known that there were games that could actually interact with the Super Nintendo in this way, like I would have looked more into that. Like that's really cool.
it still feels weird that like this is one of the games they chose that for, because that's a really cool selling point. But if your game is based on Animaniacs, that's pretty much your selling point right there. Like,
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't need to sell it beyond that.
right.
Enhanced soundtrack, not really, going to move any units of Animaniacs.
I now want to know the story. I wonder if the composer's even alive. We're getting to the point where composers who made things when we were kids, it's like, have they survived the time since?
Oh.
But I want to know what was the
Well,
point?
especially because I don't remember if it's Roger Stone or Richard Stone, like the composer on the Animaniacs show, and also did like Freakazoid and Tasmania and a
And
whole
Tiny
bunch of
Toons,
those.
yeah.
He passed away, which
Yes.
was very, very sad, because that was my
That was
childhood.
Richard Stone, by the way. Roger
Richard
Stone's a very different figure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait a minute. I didn't want to say that just in case. Just
Like,
happened to be
I knew the
that
name
other
Roger Stone, I
Roger
just
Stone.
wasn't sure why.
Right.
No, so
Um,
I think the reason they did this is because it was Factor 5, right? Because I feel like that's Factor 5's thing, is doing crazy shit you didn't even know you could do on a console, right? That's their whole gimmick. So of course they're gonna like take the Game Boy port and be like, okay, oh yeah, we can do Super Game Boy stuff. Let's do it. Custom color palettes, sure. Custom borders, sure. Custom soundtrack, done. Like just every single feature, they're gonna do it.
Man.
I was also looking up, apparently Factor 5 only did 2 games on the Game Boy, Animaniacs and Contra the Alien Wars. So
Oh,
Wow.
Of course.
very similar.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Essentially the same.
Both are
Yeah.
zany to the max.
I don't know if the Contra guys have baloney in their slacks, but
Oh man, that's my favorite power up.
Press the A button, unleash the baloney in your sack.
Now I really want a Contra game where you get a power-up where you just pelvic thrust and throw meat at people.
Mhm. Like Mr. Game & Watch's thing, but you're the Contra guys throwing it out of your pants. Sounds great,
Exactly.
David.
So
What a spread gun.
See,
you actually
like-
do the Konami code with your pelvis. Up,
Yes.
up, down, down.
See,
left, right.
Contra guys should get added to Smash Brothers just so they can fling sausages like Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah,
Oh my
the-
God, he's just-
the Contra guys should be added to Smash Brothers as an Echo Fighter for Mr. Game & Watch.
What's the octopus?
Yes. Turns into the one of those
The
giant
giant,
hideous
like-
Contra monsters.
Oh,
Yeah, like the giant alien penis brain thing from End of Contra.
Speaking of Contra on Game Boy, that sounds like another like ill-advised Donkey Kong Land kind of thing. Like I cannot imagine Contra the Alien Wars translating all that well to a Game Boy either. Like,
No.
Oh, it is
God.
so intense where you like run and fight all 2 enemies on the screen at any given time.
yeah, can you imagine like link cabling with somebody to play Contra together? Like, just fuck this. No.
I bet the bullets were way easier to see and dodge.
Oh yeah, no. Everything about that game sounds well conceived.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. But seriously, Johnny, this is fucking wild, man. I don't understand why this is a thing for the whole Super Game Boy angle is just baffling to me. I was looking at the Wikipedia page. It says this is one of the few games that takes, quote, full advantage of the Super Game Boy. I'm like, seriously, why is that a feature? I don't understand it. Why would you put extra things into a Game Boy cartridge that can only be accessed by a Super Game Boy? Like, why didn't every Game Boy game after that, why didn't people know about that? Did people know about this?
I don't know.
It's baffling to me.
Because I feel like I said, they would have the logo on the box as a Super Game Boy Enhanced, but that could mean anything. That was meaningless. Right. So, I think if they had some kind of system where maybe on the back of the box they could say, here's the features, this has, maybe that could help move it a little bit. Because I feel like there was a fundamental problem with the fundamental problem of the Super Game Boy is I had no idea what it could actually really do. I just knew it was a way to play Game Boy games on your TV, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know it did anything but that.
Yeah.
It puts Game Boy games off the Game Boy onto the TV. It's a battery saver. Great.
You could play 2-player Game Boy games with 2 Super Nintendo controllers instead of link cables. You could use multi-taps with the Barman games on Game Boy on Super Game Boy and play 4-player Barman. It was out there. It had a lot of crazy stuff happening.
That sounds like one of the worst ways to play Bomberman. I mean, look, just put it in a Super Game Boy, hook up your multi-tap, and
but also
Game Boy.
As long as we're talking fun facts, the Super Game Boy's frame rate is very slightly different from a Game Boy. So if you want to do tournament stuff with it, you can either have everybody on a Super Game Boy or everybody on a Game Boy. And it's a couple percentage points, but when you're doing tournament shit, they really care. So I don't have it in front of me, but it's one of them is just a little bit slower than the other.
Yeah, the original
tournament is on the Game Boy. What Game Boy games are tournament legal?
Donkey Kong 94.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
that makes sense.
That's a good point.
I was thinking about
speedrunning was there's probably not a lot of Game Boy tournaments. Just think about how you would even monitor them. But speedrunning, I guess, was what I meant.
No, I was just thinking about
obscure underground Bomberman Game Boy tournaments.
It's just when you said that, I was Street Fighter 2 on Game Boy at Evo.
Can you imagine the rat's nest of link cables and HDMI cables and weird homemade homebrew adapters that they'd have to have?
I would.
Nobody move! Don't pull your Game Boy. Don't move it at all.
I would absolutely love to see that. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and ESPN2, Game Boy Street Fighter 2 main events in Evo at some point.
I want to
be real. That's more like ESPN 7.
Yeah. So fun fact: the Super Game Boy was 4% faster, or whatever. The Super Game Boy 2, which came out in Japan only, fixed that. So there is a revision.
Oh shit!
That does play at the regular speed. Same speed as an actual Game Boy.
Finally, all these tournaments people are having will be fair.
Yeah.
Finally, we've solved the problem.
The import Super Game Boy. Good God.
Wait, so the Super Game Boy was 4% faster, so they fixed it by making it slower?
Yes.
Fixed the problem.
Don't worry, we've solved it. Our product is now slightly worse.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to produce authentic speedruns, David. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
That was the important thing to Nintendo back in the day, is making sure all the speedrun records were legitimate.
Yes, they love when people put footage of their games on the internet.
Famously.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nintendo in 1995, you got to make sure that those pictures, those Polaroids that you send into Nintendo Power of your game completion times are accurate.
True.
It's wait. This was done on a Super Game Boy. You completed this game exactly 37 seconds faster than you should have.
Can you imagine, doing the whole Mario Paint multiple VCRs to record your Super Game Boy speed runs?
I so did that though. Did y'all I actually edited the crappiest little videos together. That made my heart just jump, dude. Wow. 2 VCRs, taking the VCR out of the living room and without telling mom and dad and hooking it up somehow to the one in the den or whatever that room is called. To get your crappy Mario Paint drawings recorded for all time.
I only learned about that feature by when we, talked about Mario Paint on this show 3 or 4 years ago, and looking up, somebody scanned the whole player's guide into, archive.org. And I was flipping through it. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I got to like the, just, IKEA style, just like no like words, just pictures, instructions of how to hook up your VCRs to record footage. I'm like, whoa, hold on. What? And yeah, if you did it, props to you. But I was so far removed from VCRs being usable technology that I was just baffled by it. It was like reading an ancient language. Like, no one would ever do this to record Super Nintendo footage. Wait, could I have done that with not just Mario Paint? Could I have been recording that Secret of Mana with voiceover that I'd always been wanting to make as a kid? Son of a bitch.
Well, now's your time.
Sent the mind racing. Yeah, exactly. I got to go fish a couple of VCRs out of the closet. But yeah, anyway. So Johnny, are you going to be recording a Super Game Boy speedrun anytime soon?
Absolutely.
Of Animaniacs.
I do like how we spent this entire segment discussing the Super Game Boy and Mario Paint and all these things. I don't think we've literally said anything about Animaniacs the game.
It's fine. The game's
I made
fine.
a joke.
Like
it's the Sega version. That's something.
And it's like 3 out of 6 levels of the Sega version. It's a very cut down edition of the Sega version. It's perfectly playable. It's a fun game. Don't get me wrong, but I really just came here to talk about the Super Game Boy. That's what I really want to talk about.
Johnny's been getting deep in the chipsets, programming the radio stream and shit. So yeah, all of a sudden he finds this legendary piece of knowledge. How could he resist? Yep. I understand, John. Well, anyway, are we still recording on the VCRs, or do we need to like change tapes or something before we move on to the next game? I mean, what?
Might just need to tighten the coaxial cable with that little ring.
Yeah,
it's got to go and make sure.
Are we recording
there?
LP or SP?
Are we set to channel 3 or channel 4?
It was 3 in my house.
Yeah.
None of this channel 4 shit.
Channel 3 house.
Maybe other kids' parents get to do that, but we are channel 3.
We watch the news on channel 4, son.
Did you hate it when you went to a candy machine and you put in your quarter and your VCR got set to channel 4? Drove me bananas.
Game 4.
Okay, is it time for my trivia fun fact hint?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this game is technically a title from the Shin Megami Tensei series.
I'm feeling hella confident.
Clearly. Jeez, David. Keep it in your pants, man.
Jesus. You got that Contra power up.
I'm sorry, I forgot we had a guest on the show. I will never be excited or happy.
Okay, so David and Jesse have it right. It is, in fact, Jack Brothers from the Virtual Boy. I am recently very into the Virtual Boy. I even got this LED light for my
Whoa.
for my
Nice.
Nice.
yeah, so basically this was a Virtual Boy game of the few that there are. I got an Oculus somewhat recently, and then I found out that there is a Virtual Boy emulator that looks clearer than the Virtual Boy ever looked, and
Holy
it's more
shit.
comfortable than it ever looked. I should have brought a visual aid, but there's a dude named, I think, Kevin Malott, who makes an adapter that takes your real Virtual Boy controller and turns it into USB-C, so you can plug it into your Oculus, play Virtual Boy games, change the palette to any color palette you want, not just blood red, and play it with the original very kind of, the
Awkward controller.
Well, I actually think it's very comfortable. It's just that there's no other controller like it. It's got 2 D-pads. And analog sticks don't really work for the kind of games they do. So, like, you kind of have to have the original to get the original feel for it. But yeah, Jack Brothers. And I've now, I've watched videos on all of them. I've played almost all of them. Jack Brothers, far and away, best soundtrack on the Virtual Boy. Had to share.
I am amazed.
good.
I never thought of using an Oculus to play Virtual Boy games, but that totally makes sense. And that's genius. That is.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and the options are amazing. You can make it look farther away like a movie theater, or you can make it where you're so in it that you have to turn your head. Make the whole palette yellow, purple, melt black and white. It's pretty. I mean, they're still Virtual Boy games, so let's get real. But the point is that about the best way you could play them, I would say.
The Virtual Boy has some fun games. There's 3.
Basically, ish. Yeah, depending on your definition of fun.
I've brought it on the show before, and I will defend Virtual Boy Wario Land to the
It's good.
death.
It's
That is a
good.
good game.
Yes.
I have not played Jack Brothers, mainly because when I got my Virtual Boy, it was not part of. I bought it on eBay, and it had a collection of 6 games with it, and that was not one of them. And looking up prices, it's crazy
Oh, yeah.
expensive. It's like,
It's
yeah,
super
no.
expensive. Yeah. But I
Um,
mean, it's top 3 most fun. It's a twin stick shooter, kind of like Super Smash TV, where move with the left D-pad, and then the direction you point with the right one is where you shoot from. And doesn't really, like a lot of fun Virtual Boy games, doesn't really utilize what Virtual Boy can do more than just like occasional little parallax effects, but like
Right.
almost almost every song on the album, or rather on the soundtrack, is a banger. And even though it's short, like it's a good game. I recommend it to anybody, even if you're using like a PC or Mac based emulator. It works great in 2D as well. Again, hard to emulate. You have to figure something out with dual analog controllers, but solid game.
That's what was confusing me looking at the screenshots of it. I'm like, this doesn't look like it needs to be a Virtual Boy game at all. This just looks like a kind of cool game. But
honestly, Super Nintendo in color, it would have been like if it had been twice as long on the Super Nintendo in color, it could have been a hit because it's addictive. It's fun. It's cute.
Yeah. And you're playing as the Jack Bros.
Yes, they are pixies who can be summoned in the universe of Shin Megami Tensei. So they're not really like flagship characters from that series, but because they're cute and cuddly and have nothing to do with the rest of the series, Nintendo of America was like, okay, we'll put this on one of our consoles.
well, because I think
One of them.
Yeah.
Jack the like mascot of Atlas, because I think he turns up in a lot of their games. Like he's not necessarily in Shin Megami Tensei, but there's like another RPG they do where he pops up as like a summon.
Yeah, I think Jack Frost is well, they are summons in that world. The corporate mascot is Jack Frost. So even though he's sort of like the weakest character in the game, he's still one of the 3 Jacks. It's Jack Frost, Jack Skelton, and Jack the Ripper. I think that's it. Like I know the Japanese names too, which are different, like Pyro Jack. The point is 3 spooky kinds of Jacks who, just like Mario, they're Jack brothers, but they're also named Jack. What are you gonna do? But it's fun game.
I like it. Yeah, the family of Jacks. And I was looking at Wikipedia. They say the other one is Jack Lantern, which that's a good that's good spooky but not murderous Jack.
Right.
A pumpkin-headed Jack. I like.
Yes.
And I like how I'm looking at the American box art now, and they tried to make it seem like this was some fucking spooky like horror series, and it's not that at all.
It was a terrible choice for box art.
Yeah, as were many things in the 90s and 80s.
As were many things dealing
times.
with Virtual Boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Mistakes were made. But yeah, man, I'm just I love the soundtrack. That's the thing. I thought we were just doing another Game Boy bop, but yeah, to have a good Virtual Boy soundtrack on the show, it just doesn't happen. Like because there's so few games to pick from, and after 249 episodes, I think this is our 3rd Virtual Boy game that we've chosen. David can back me up on that. You're
now past 10% of their whole library.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Almost there, guys.
Yeah, that's true, because I think it was Virtual Boy Wario Land, and I think I used Teleroboxer.
You did use Teleroboxer.
Yes.
Which
I almost did myself, but I saw that on the list. Teleroboxer has some serious bangers too.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. If we had thought about this earlier in the run of the show, like we should have just made it our mission to close the whole Virtual Boy off. Like, it's easily the system with the games that we could have like played and said, okay, we've played every game on this system throughout the history of the show, and we just haven't done it, guys. We've slacked on the Virtual Boy. It's disappointing.
Oh man.
I mean, to be fair, with the 3 games that we've used, we have covered like the good games. I think the only ones that we're missing are like Red Alarm and maybe Galactic Pinball.
Depending on how
called Water World.
Yeah.
Water World. Now I'll say this: the only tune you hear in the game is solid. The problem is that you can't extract it. Nobody's extracted it in its pure form. So the only record anyone has of the main theme of Water World is like pew, pew, pew. Pew pew, and it's like the Super Nintendo port of that has a similar theme for the map, but actually,
Super Nintendo Waterworld soundtrack is superb.
It is little for Brundle Floss fans watching that came from my Twitter and Facebook or are already subscribers, followers to Game That Tune. Little fun fact: I'm doing a top 15 Virtual Boy tracks video coming up. So I happen to have recently played most of the games, but then literally over the course of a few days, listened to every OST all the way through just to make sure I didn't forget anything. And let us say that the Jack Brothers games, I think that the Jack Brothers game, rather, that soundtrack probably could deserve its own top 10 list. It's just, if you're into video game music, people listening probably aren't familiar with it. And it's just this lost trove of really good tunes.
Yes. Hell yeah.
I feel bad because he said it's top 15. Did we just give away like a solid fifth of that upcoming video? No.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I mean, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. People will still watch to find out which one went where.
I already saw 1/5 of this. I can't see the rest. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that when it comes out. That sounds really interesting.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it should, but it'll be about the Virtual Boy, so it'll be kind of fun.
I'm trying hard to make it funny. I'm punching that script up because a lot of people don't even know about it these days.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, guys our age, it's just like that legendary flop thing. But no, there's easily a generation or two that would be like, wait, they did what? Nintendo did what?
And of course, Nintendo tried to just absolutely sweep it under the rug within days of discontinuing it. There's like a few Easter eggs that have mentioned it in a few games since, and that's it. So like, it sort of makes sense if somebody was born in, let's say, 1995. Look, of course they don't know about it, much less somebody born in 2005 who's now legally able to drive. Oh, I'm gonna go
don't
drink myself to sleep. Oh no, bye.
I imagine the Virtual Boy was going to get a lot of push in the Super Mario Brothers movie sequel, much like the Super Scope did in the first movie. Somehow the Virtual Boy was going to factor into the climax of Super Mario Brothers 2, the movie, and they just didn't get around. It turned out to be a flop sandwich, so they just never got to do it.
God, could you imagine if they made a Super Mario Brothers 2 movie with like a shitty cyberpunk version of Subcon from Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yes, David, I can't imagine that. That sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
I know. I want that now.
But then he wakes up and it's all just a dream.
The Shy Guys and the Sniffets are all just like leather daddies and shit. And,
but of course, with a weird 3-hole mask.
Yes.
Always spitting balls out.
Oh no.
The magic carpets are just like weird rundown pickup trucks. The Birdos are, I don't know.
Birdo clearly runs like some kind of romantic gay bar. Like,
yes.
Mm-hmm. Full of eggs, that place.
Exactly. It is Pride, man. They should have, really done a Birdo push for.
What I want to know is, does Birdo involuntarily shoot out those eggs, or is it totally a choice? Because they're very regular. Like, what if you were just in the middle of talking?
Yeah.
Every 7 or 8 seconds, you were like, "I know the." So fucking,
Excuse me.
I'd imagine
it's like Tourette's.
I'd imagine eggs of Birdo are like hairballs to cats. Like you're just hanging out and suddenly an egg comes out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Out of your mouth,
and
of course.
That also raises the question, like, what are those eggs? Are they like young Birdos that are just not going to hatch and become children, and they're just like, oh, fuck it, this is a bad one? Like,
it's a great question. Maybe they're rocks just in the shape of eggs.
Yeah,
I mean,
Birdo's just passing a bunch of stones.
Yeah, I mean, they also defy the laws of physics entirely. They can literally kill a Mario brother. Maybe they're just, like, maybe Birdo just drinks too much Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
These are from my kidneys. Sorry.
Vomiting kidney stones.
Yeah. If they were eggs, they were never meant to hatch because they just go off infinitely in one direction unless they hit something.
Oh my God. Would stop?
Space is full of fucking Birdo eggs. That's where.
Or they just have a low orbit and occasionally they see one flying past the house from the other side. Like, oh shit, I forgot about those. There's a lot of eggs flying around.
That would be
an
excellent runner in that Mario Brothers 2 movie. Like later on in the movie, you just see subtly an egg, flying by in the distance because Birdo spat one at the beginning of the movie. Guys, we could write it.
Now I want to go back and replay Super Mario Galaxy and see if like the planet the Mushroom Kingdom is on has a ring around it, but instead of asteroids, it's just Birdo eggs.
Yeah. See, you notice they didn't put Birdo into Super Mario Galaxy because it would just raise too many fucking questions.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
Like,
Think about
they
physics,
couldn't
but only
program
this
it.
much. Yeah.
Also, only John Leguizamo is still alive.
Oh
Boom,
God.
boom, boom, boom. Sorry, Dennis
Okay.
Hopper. Sorry, animatronic Yoshi. Sorry, Big
Yeah.
Bertha. Sorry,
And
Tiny
Bob
Bob
Hoskins.
Reebok shoes. Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Ooh.
true. What's her name?
Samantha
Daisy.
Mathis.
Yeah, she's still around.
Yeah, but Mario, the guy, it's called Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm sure that whatever
Unless they
the
make
next,
Mario is missing the movie.
the next
Oh,
the
God.
next movie is the Mario's missing movie. Oh,
Wow.
that's much better than my idea of like Princess laying Bob Hoskins into whatever the next Mario movie is.
Jim Cummings inevitably does his voice because, of course, he does.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, we could write it, fellas.
Can I ask a question that might take us on a completely different tangent?
I think
What
you
is this, a podcast?
You make a compelling argument, Brent. So the upcoming animated Mario movie, if they get Charles Martinet to play Mario, do you
God.
think he's going to speak full lines of dialogue in that voice?
Oh, please.
Like, do you think he's going to be giving exposition for like 4 minutes in the Mario voice?
I honestly don't see how that's possible. Like at all. I don't understand.
I hope it
I wanna-
happens.
So, okay. First off, I totally agree that, like, by making the choice they made with Mario 64, they sort of created a Mario that can't do dialogue forever.
Right.
And that's, I think, why supposedly the Minions people have been tapped to at least produce or co-make the movie. So, like, it could just be, like, very visually, like, just like the games where it's like, whoo, whoo, hoo, oh, or
Mhm.
like the gibberish. God, how bold would it fucking be to do the Superstar Saga gibberish? When they're like,
That would be amazing.
but like,
that
that would be so fucking cool. But also, okay, this might be Mandela effect, but help me out. Y'all are some trivia loving nerds. Wasn't there some kind of Mario versus Donkey Kong game where there were like surprisingly full bits of dialogue in cutscenes, and Mario, this might be full Mandela effect, but I remember watching the screen and Mario was saying, "You're not going to do this to me anymore," or like it was like, whoa, this is too many words, my dude. You gotta cut it off at let's go. Like it was,
think I'm
Are
gonna
you-
have to go back and check, but I think the original Mario versus Donkey Kong on the Game Boy Advance had that because it had like very, very brief cutscenes, and I seem to remember like Donkey Kong taking all the toys and running off, and Mario like chasing after, like, "Hey, you come on back here with those,"
right.
like that
Right.
kind of thing.
Just too long of a sentence. Seven
or maybe it
words?
was Miniland Mayhem. I don't know. Somebody will tell us in the chat.
There
but,
were,
and I
there were
might
so
be
many
dead
of those
wrong.
damn games.
Yeah, I might be combining things, but I just remember thinking that exact thing, which is, well, I never thought Mario could do dialogue well, and now I know
He can't.
it's awkward.
Yeah, it's confirmed. So yeah, a whole movie of it's going to be awesome. Yeah, and I love Charles Martinet. Don't get me wrong, but no, I cannot see a conversation taking place between multiple Charles Martinet voiced characters.
He's no Lou Albano. I'll tell you that.
No, that's true. I want them
Exactly.
to actually go all the way the other way and do a Shakespeare with Mario.
Yeah.
If you prick me, do I not bleed? Anyway,
That was
soft. Anyway, I'm done.
That's where the Mario voice came from. Like, I was watching a Charles Martinet interview, and he was saying like when he didn't want to do like a gruff, hard, like, I'm a Brooklyn plumber voice. Like, I want like something softer for kids and everything. And he said he played like some merchant in a Shakespeare play that had like a very soft, a soothing voice for it. It's like, and that's part of where that voice came from.
Like
I
the
can't even-
Merchant of Venice, like Shylock, the character who literally says, "If you prick me, do I not bleed?"
I don't know if
Hath
that
not
was,
a Jew eyes. Sounded like
I don't know if it was that specific
This
character,
booth
but I
cannot
remember
contain the explosions in
I
my
remember him
brain.
saying that he played like an old man in a Shakespeare play, and that was part of the voice that he used.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It was Hamlet. He was playing fucking Polonius, but somehow it just came out Mario, and he was inspired. Anyway, shit, what got us on that tangent? I thought we're still talking about Virtual Boy. Anything else,
Yeah,
Brent?
so-
Yeah, the Jack Bros, not the Mario Bros.
No, I mean, other than just the fact that like if people are really interested in finding out more about the Virtual Boy, Jeremy Parrish
Yeah.
does
Oh yeah.
really
That's
good retrospectives. Like anyone that does this, there are occasionally minor inconsistencies or mispronunciations, whatever. Everybody does that,
Wholly unacceptable.
Yes,
we
yes.
Outta
hereby renounce Jeremy Parrish.
but what's great about Jeremy Parrish videos is you can listen to them and they're relaxing during the day, but I swear to God, there's nobody else who talks about video games whose videos allow me to drift off while listening to them better. And I think that like by falling asleep and not turning off my phone while leaving on the playlist of his Virtual Boy work series, I think that's where my obsession came from. I think I just woke up knowing a little bit about every game on the system and then was like, I think I got to get an Oculus. I'm not sure why.
You did the Homer Simpson thing where you listened to the vocabulary tapes and you woke up like a Virtual Boy expert. It's like, I got to talk about this. To
Kind
somebody.
of, yeah.
Love it.
And that's when we got the call, like, hello, game that tune. I need to talk about the Virtual Boy on your show.
Post haste.
He's sitting there at the table building a Virtual Boy out of mashed potatoes, and he's like, I need to get on a podcast. I need an outlet for this. Anyway, Johnny, hit the button. Let's keep it going, man.
Game 5.
All right, guys. So this game was released for the Game Boy in December of 1994, the SNES in February of 1995, and the Genesis version did not receive a physical release. Instead, it was exclusive, albeit very briefly, to the Sega channel. I assume everybody's feeling great after that.
Pretty great.
Fantastic.
Brent's got a good guess. In Command and Conquer, sadly incorrect. Jesse says Mr. Nuts, sadly incorrect.
I know. I'm wrong.
Yeah, Johnny says, don't you hate when you use a candy machine, but instead of candy, you get something from the Sega channel? It just drives me bananas. And David says Pulse Man, also incorrect.
Damn.
What?
No.
Oh. For a second, I was like, you're telling me that was Adam's family shit. Okay.
No, that we've just adopted that as our everybody got it wrong sound.
Nice. Nice.
Sadly, this is from a different movie-based game. See, Johnny and David, this is what happens when you don't pick the most obvious song for your third song. This is the Flintstones for the Super Nintendo.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
By who? Tim Fallon?
It sounded like Tim Fallon, but no.
There was no mixed meter, to be fair, so,
Right, yeah. Jeez. It was two of those songs were composed by Dean Evans, who also composed the Waterworld soundtrack.
I thought part of it sounded like Waterworld, but when you said Game Boy, I was like, no, this can't be that. But it has similar sound font kind of shit. And anyway, yeah.
So it's the Flintstones Ocean game for SNES.
Wow.
And, the soundtrack fucks.
I'm assuming when you say the Flintstones Ocean game, you mean Ocean was the developer and not there was a Flintstones game where the world was flooded.
Yeah, it's Waterworld, but Flintstones.
Right. It was the Flintstones game that also crossed over with Noah's Ark.
Yes. though Ocean did in fact release Waterworld, which is a beautiful symmetry of suck. So
yeah. Ocean was a complicated company for a while there.
yeah.
Hey,
They really-
are you gonna turn your pee into fresh water?
Don't forget your lime juice. And like there's a little dinosaur accepting the pee and spitting it out, going, "It's the living."
Oh God.
Hmm,
I
it
would
does
watch-
look like shit, dum dum.
I would love to see that movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, they
I'm-
should have made that by now. Good God. And it shouldn't have been the cartoon Flintstones. It would have had to be the live action Flintstones in Waterworld.
Yeah, John Goodman and Rick Moranis peeing on dinosaurs. Absolutely.
Perfect. They roll up to that big floating fortress and it's made of those plastic fucking, backlot Flintstones rocks. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah. Sadly, it's not that. It's just it's a Flintstones movie game with a really slapping soundtrack. It's strange. The credited composers on the game are Jonathan Dunn and Keith Tinman. Jonathan Dunn worked for Ocean and did a lot of soundtracks. He did like the Jurassic Parks and stuff like that. And the Dean Evans tracks, most of them were not used in the game, but the ones that I picked, they were. And I think Dean Evans was like kind of another Tim Follin. Like he just composed songs, and they're like, "What is this for?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't know, just put in whatever you got." It's like, Dean, we asked you to make the Flintstones theme. He's like, "I made a theme for your Flintstones game." It's like, no. We wanted a sound sample of someone saying "yabba dabba doo." He's like, "No, I gave you a progressive rock song. It's 5 minutes long." It's like, damn it, Dean. Like,
You think he just spent
check
like
plus, but you missed the assignment.
Yeah.
Do you think he just spent like 2 years composing a bunch of music and then was just shopping it around? It's like, hey, we need you to compose this video game soundtrack. All right, here's the music for it. I'm gonna peace out to the beach for like the next 3 weeks.
I mean, honestly, it seems more like that than him going Flintstones. Like does a weekend in the mountains, takes shrooms, meditates on it. He's like, you know what? This needs to sound like Killer Instinct meets Command and Conquer, and then they
Right.
have sex in front of everyone.
He's
Like,
sitting there
that's-
playing a prototype of the Flintstones on mushrooms. It's like,
Yeah.
this, No, because that's the other thing. Like the music, like the last song was just the staff roll theme, which means you can just go crazy and do as much prog rock as you want. The other one I think was just like password screen. That first song didn't. The password screen doesn't need to slap like that.
No.
Not at all.
Give it a 15-second loop and move on with your life, my dude.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
it's delightful. Like he way outkicked the coverage on this one. It was just completely unnecessary to do this soundtrack this good. Which seems to also be his thing with like the Waterworld soundtrack. Like nobody was asking for that.
Right.
Like Kevin Costner was, wasn't there passing him notes like, yeah, more, 7-minute loops, like keep going. No, Dean Evans just an overachiever. As for the Flintstones game, it's the game based on the movie The Flintstones. It's actually one of 2 Flintstones games to come out in a 1-year period for the Super Nintendo.
Wow.
The other one
have we now used both of them?
We have now used both of them. We're closing the book on Super Nintendo Flintstones games here on Game That Tune. We didn't close out the Virtual Boy, but we got the Flintstones movie, and we have Treasure of the Sierra Mad Rock somewhere there in the past.
Brent,
Worst title
we were very honored to have you join us, so we wanted to make this a momentous occasion. You are on the episode in which we are done discussing the Flintstones for Super Nintendo.
Oh my God, these are happy tears. I didn't know. You didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Oh God, that's really why we brought you here, man. We thought you like video game music all well and good, but I know you're also a fan of the Flintstones 1994
True.
film.
And now you're yabba dabba done, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, feels good, man. Feels great. The main takeaway I had in listening to this music and then looking at this game, I realized this was a 1995 SNES game. Mortal Kombat came out years before this and used awesome digitized actors for their sprites. why didn't all movie games do that?
Yeah.
Like, I realized in looking at videos of this, it made me realize what it is that's disappointing about licensed movie games for the SNES. It doesn't look like John Goodman in this game. It's incredibly frustrating. Like, you're thinking you're going to get a fucking awesome Flintstones movie game with John Goodman and Rick Moranis and Rosie O'Donnell and the fucking Dictabird, and instead you get these ugly ass sprites hopping around generic platform levels. Where is Halle Berry? She's nowhere to be found. Cliff Vandercave, spoilers, you just dump a vat of cement on him at the end. It doesn't look like Kyle MacLachlan at all. Like, it's just it's all wrong, man. All wrong. So they should have digitized all movie games and like TV games, like Home Improvement, Power Tool Pursuit. They should have done hours and hours of extensive Tim Allen mocap to get that right. Not just.
But to be fair, if you look at Street Fighter the movie, the game, and those digitized graphics, like, is that really what you want for all of these?
Yes, it is. That's exactly what I want. Look up the sprites for this Flintstones game and think about it. If you would prefer what they gave you to digitize John Goodman with like 4 frames of animation, no matter what he's doing, you're wrong, David. Like, it's.
Oh wow, it's.
Okay, yeah, I just looked up the sprites, and I would prefer to play as digitized John Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
What
Even
does
if it's
the
just
style
Roseanne.
remind me of? It feels like very similar to something, and it's just not coming to mind.
It's weird. It's like a super deformed style of live action. It's very odd.
Like
Yeah.
Joe and Mac.
Yeah, that's
Also,
the thing. Yeah, Joe and Mac came to mind, but I'm not sure if that's just because it's a caveman thing.
But it's like, just generic bodies, but then like weirdly detailed heads. Like, Fred Flintstone's ugly as fuck in this game. It's just,
Yeah.
like,
It looks like possessed, recently dead corpse of Fred Flintstone.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
I think, guys, what happened here is they went down to like the Jersey Shore and they got a caricature artist as their like artist for this game, right? I think that's the story.
Well, and I'm looking at the title screen of Treasure of Sierra Madrock with those the cartoon game that came out.
Oh, they nailed the
it's
fucking
perfect.
cartoon.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's the crazy thing. Mad Rock was flawless, and that's like, well, we can't do another cartoon game because this is the movie game, so we better make it hideous. Like, we have no choice. But damn, somebody in the chat just provided a screenshot that takes away several of my complaints. There's Halle Berry and the Dictabird all in one shot in this game. I'm a little pissed now.
Looking at the Fred Flintstone sprite, he looks more like Babe Ruth.
Which is, it's funny because that's another character played by John Goodman in another movie, but it doesn't lend itself here.
Right.
It just looks like.
But I mean, like, if you like Google search Babe Ruth, there's that black and white picture of him like old with the jowls. Like, that's exactly what that looks like.
Well, and now what I'm wondering is, did they get the rights to use their likenesses in a video game, or did they have to be as close as possible without it being John Goodman?
Well, they're on the box.
At all?
That's
Oh,
true,
well, then I guess the answer is no.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
and even if they didn't get the likeness, like, oh, we can't use John Goodman for this game, we'll just make him look like Fred Flintstone, because this doesn't look like either.
Right.
Yeah.
But they had to like
Wild.
erase features that made him more John Goodman-esque, so they just ended up with like these, I don't know, poorly detailed, vaguely human sprites. It's it's bad. It's not great.
Yeah.
I'm sure the game itself is a perfectly not great SNES movie tie-in platformer, as was the style at the time.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna do that, you got to give the people what they want. Goodman by the fucking barrel full, and they just didn't do it. So it's I don't know. It's a shame because as this says on the box, this is the only video game based on the Blockbuster movie. So
A dubious distinction.
If you were looking for the next, Flintstones movie game, it wasn't coming. This was the only one you were gonna get. So, man,
What a shame.
it is. But that's why the soundtrack had to be so good. Dean Evans took one look at those sprites. He's like, people are gonna fucking riot if we don't give them some good tunes. Like they're gonna hate this.
Well, the visuals are shit. Better make sure the audio is great.
Yep. I mean, good on him. But yeah, so it's the Flintstones, and it's got fucking amazing soundtrack, or at least the Dean Evans parts. That's the thing. Actually, the best song on the soundtrack I didn't use because it's in the sound test as an unused song. Like I said, they cut a bunch of Dean Evans tunes. So go, it's all over YouTube. Flintstones SNES unused song number 2 is the greatest of the Flintstones SNES music. It's out there. Go find it. And yeah, it's totally worth listening to, as were many Ocean soundtracks at the time. Playing the game, not so much. Not so sure. I expect more. That was my problem with all these games. Expectations. I was a victim of my own expectations. I so loved the Flintstones movie that the game it could never live up to my love. That's I'm sure a common refrain. Everybody just loved that Flintstones movie. So well. And I have nothing else on this. So Johnny, I think it's time to start the calculating computer and see who's won the show.
Calculating computer activated. Computers. Beeps.
Space!
Boops. Scoring complete.
This game's winner is
Both of her holes have eggs coming out. That can't be healthy.
Brent Black.
Really?
It is.
We made
Okay.
the decision a while ago because we kept having guests lose. I'm like, you know what? We should just make it so the guest always wins.
Yep.
That works for me. I mean, I was expecting it to be David, did you get that one? You know what? Let's not talk about it. Of course I'm the winner. Hi. Hello. Thank you. You have honored me with this fair and square win.
That's what we do. It's what we're trying to do more often.
We only have fair and square wins.
So yeah, excellent game, Brent. I mean, honestly, you did very well. I was, compared to several of the past guests that we have had, you did exceptionally well at the game. So,
it's funny. I looked over lists of 1995 Nintendo games in preparation, and I gotta say, 1994, for me at least, was the year that all the games I think of when I think Nintendo, Super Nintendo greatness came out. And 1995, had some good stuff. I'm pretty sure Chrono Trigger was 1995, right?
Oh,
so,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, but
well covered on this show.
I imagine, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for having me. And that's,
it was a well-conceived theme until we all looked up games to use.
Right. Exactly. It was kind of an off year in a way.
Yeah. Everybody was looking forward to that Ultra 64 that they'd been promised.
Oh yeah.
And so they were holding back all their great games from the SNES in preparation for the Ultra 64.
Maybe.
Well, and they were pushing that big Virtual Boy push for 3 months. And then they stopped that.
Pretty much. Then they made it. They cut it down to $99 from $179.
I remember at one point being at JCPenney
and the price cut
worked
worked
for $40.
Yeah, they were just trying to get the fuck rid of them. And also, you probably remember this: Blockbuster would let you rent one for 2 nights for I think $15 or $20 or something like that, because they just wanted people to try it out. But it's just you can't show what it looks like on TV,
right?
You can't really describe very well.
It's like when they launched the 3DS. It's like, trust us, it works. we can't really show you that it works, but it does.
Yeah. I remember a kiosk in New York City, a kiosk set up to advertise the 3DS. At least you could pick it up, look at it, show somebody else. But that's the thing about the Virtual Boy. You got to stick your face into it. Mm-hmm. God help you if other people have gotten to stick their faces into it. It's got everybody's oils and breath and nastiness in there.
Virtual Boy Demo Station definitely wouldn't play in 2021.
No.
Can't have it. But and then you got to go see your eye doctor. That's the problem.
Yeah. It literally, I mean,
shoots laser beams into your eyes.
it really can make. Having looked into it for the video I talked about earlier, kids under 7. It was determined by an ocular surgeon or somebody like that. There you go. That it could give them a lazy eye if they played it too much. Can you imagine, not knowing that and just taking your kid to the doctor and they're like, "Has this child been playing any terrible games lately?"
Yeah. Or it's like, he's been playing that game too long, son, and you like fucking go tap on the Virtual Boy and he pulls his face away and his eyes going this way. It's like, oh God,
son, look at me. I am looking at you. Oh no.
Yeah. What's wrong, Papa?
Everything's red.
I'm just imagining later on, like you're dating, and you're getting to know each other. It's like, so like, what's the story of the lazy eye? It's like, oh, I played Virtual Boy when I was under 7 years old. Like, oh no.
They just leave.
A tale as old as time. Why didn't we listen when we were 6?
But,
so
anyway,
someone who owns and has played the Virtual Boy, I can attest, you will never play that thing long enough to develop a lazy eye, no matter how young you are. Like after about 20 minutes, you're done.
Yeah. Too bad.
Yeah, it is. They just those long RPGs were doomed on the Virtual Boy.
Yes. But anyone considering getting it on their Oculus, there's a program called SideQuest, and you can sideload another program called Virtual Boy Go. If you're interested, that's how to do it. Just Google it, but that's how I've done it, and it works pretty well. And I can't believe it maps so perfectly onto the original controller, which I don't even know if the emulator people were like, just in case anybody decides to make a bespoke adapter that makes all these things talk to each other across time and space. Anyway.
Brent, you've won the show, which means you get to select the theme for next week's episode. An episode that you will not be on, which, unless you want to.
A theme. If this was in my prep materials, I didn't see it, so I'm going to just off the top of my head say, well, okay, so it can't be something like, Ninja Turtles games, because it'll be like pretty easy. There's only so many.
Right, and we've used a lot of them.
Have you yet done superhero games? Is that too broad?
No,
not at all.
And I don't think we have.
If we have, it's sometime in the distant past, and I think it's time for it to come back.
Yeah.
So, excellent theme, superhero games.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, David, honestly, that's something that seems like a theme you should have come up with for like episode 6.
I know.
Feels weird.
I make them.
Right.
I'm like 10% sure you guys have already done that twice and you're just humoring me, but I appreciate it either way.
No, I'm racking my brain.
No,
I honestly don't think we've done it.
I seriously don't think we've ever done that.
Yeah, I'm going through my internal Rolodex of Game That Tune knowledge, and it feels like we've been close to it before.
I think we've done comic book games.
We've done comic book games, yeah.
Which is pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty similar.
Right. So, good. Superheroes. That eliminates some of the shittier comic book games out there. Sorry, fans of, Blackthorn. It's not coming back. But that's going to be a great episode. And Brent, thank you so much for selecting that theme. And thank you so much for being here, man. It's been truly a pleasure.
It really has for me too, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Excellent. And so we want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks to everybody watching live with us. Everybody that, joined. Thanks to Brent tweeting us out. We appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you'll join us again. We're live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Search for Game That Tune. We're in your podcast devices on Tuesday mornings. Hit us up, gamethattune.com, or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can make requests with us. Best way to do that's via our Discord, or you can email us gamethattune@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter at gamethattune. Want to thank our patrons, fantastic patrons over there, patreon.com/gamethattune. Sign up there. You get awesome bonus content. We got GTT gems. We got the occasional movie commentary, mixtapes and whatnot. And you help us keep the lights on at the 24/7 music live stream at twitch.tv/GTT radio. Special thanks to the absurd fans over there at Patreon: Alex Messenger, Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, Daniel Perky, Taylor Y, Sam L, Mork, Tasty, Grimmery, Phoenix Tier 2121, Unsaddled Zebra, and The Last Recon. Fantastic group of patrons we got there at Patreon. And I think that pretty much does it. You can follow each of us individually on Twitter. I'm there at JGangsta187. You can find Jesse Moore on Twitter at
Sega_legend.
You can find David Fleming on Twitter at
DFD Fleming.
You can find John Regan on Twitter at
JP Regan JR.
And you can find Brental Floss on Twitter at
Brental Floss.
Yes, and any other thing you want to promote before we sign off, Brent? You're the guy that actually does things, so anything you want to tell the people about.
As opposed to the four of you that are always in those chairs that you're in now all day.
Mhm. Yeah, they only know us from here.
So if you haven't watched my stuff or you haven't watched it in a while, I make funny songs about video games, usually using the tune from the game. I actually did a brand new season of videos between September and January of last year, including songs from Mario 64, Luigi's Mansion 3, Shovel Knight, the list goes on. There's some originals too, like Stardew Valley and Mass Effect, and some other surprises. So go check that out at youtube.com/Brentalfloss.
Hell yeah, everybody should, and many people do. So you've got the bonus tunes taking us home. So what are we closing out with?
Okay, so basically this is a tune that I want to reserve. Wait, do I have to tell you first, and then it entirely takes us out?
Yes, that is typically how we do it.
Okay, so this is such a, I didn't know if I was going to win. I'm now embarrassed I chose this, but you know what? Sometimes a tune from a video game that's very close to your heart also happens to be one that you wrote. Now, I was asked to do a soundtrack for a Swedish game called Flavored Cats that was going to be kind of an evolution of the Mario 3D World cat thing. And so I wrote legit, I mean, I'm hyping it up, but some music that's really close to my heart, and then the game was canceled. And so this is like the winter athletic theme, like the level where you're slipping and sliding, and so it's Mario inspired, it's wintry. It's very egotistical for me to have this be the song, but where else am I going to share it where it will be accepted in this exact way? So this is the winter athletic theme from what would have been Flavored Cats.
Hell yeah, man. So is that a GTT exclusive?
I've put it a few places online, but I'll tell you what, this is the first time people will probably notice.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for that. Thanks for being here, and peace out, everybody.
Mario 64 accordion. Just,
nice.
Yes.
For the OGs.
No, you're nailing the sound.
Oh, good.
A B section might have been good, but fuck it.
Game was canceled. Oh well.
Exactly.
I'm kind of picturing like roaming snowy hills, and at one section there's like a mini sled part that you go down.
I wish so much. Breezy Peak, Mario's 3D World, all
Yes.
those great like snow levels. But yeah, anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
That's good stuff.
Excellent. Donkey Kong Land is copyright 1995, Rare Limited, and Nintendo of America Incorporated. The Ignition Factor is copyright 1995, Jaleco Limited. Animaniacs is copyright 1995, Factor 5 and Konami. Jack Brothers is copyright 1995, Atlas Company Limited. The Flintstones is copyright 1995, Ocean Software Limited.